apparently. This is allegedly George right here.
Shut the... This... Shut up! What is that? Yo, right here in the small box. Let me go ahead and read the title of this video. Akademiks TV exposed for snitching on Drake after spotted by investigators. So right now, Charlamagne the God and Akademiks is at war. Well, it's not war, but it's like a little beef. And it's kind of interesting because this ties back to the investigation that came around the whole state lawsuits and how they were investigating different sectors with Akademiks and his other account and the people that run those accounts. Let's not waste no more time because we need to get to the bottom of this because I personally don't know too much, but we're going to learn more as we go through this video. So y'all know how we start this, right? So let's go ahead and make it happen. Yo, you right here in the small box, right here in the small box. Welcome back to Flex Mob Reactions, only on the Flex Mob Network. I'm Flex. Welcome back to the channel. Akademiks is in deep doo-doo water, and I want to see why. Listen, like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the vibe. You tapped in with your favorite Canadian reaction channel and network. Yo, don't forget to hit that hype button on these videos when I post them, all right? Please and thank you. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started with this.
Charlamagne has just exposed Akademiks TV for snitching on Drake and Akademiks themselves. Now, if you don't know, there is a Twitter account by the name of Akademiks TV that is ran by an individual named George who lives in Australia, who's also known as Grandwizard. He apparently has been approached by investigators, and once these investigators had spoke to him, he had snitched on Akademiks and Drake, saying that he takes orders from them both, and Charlamagne is the one with this information, and then went out the way to tell Akademiks as a warning. The funny part after this is that Charlamagne ended up getting backlash from Akademiks TV. George Nwin, the same guy that was getting approached by these investigators. And the problem is that they think that Charlamagne is responsible. Charlamagne is the one that is telling them this information. So I'm not sure how he's responsible for these investigators approaching them, but because...
It sounds like the paranoid. Because that's defense mode. Because I remember when I heard Charlamagne was passing along information towards Akademiks. It wasn't in an attacking way. It wasn't in a sense of attacking. It's just like, yo, just to let you know, the people around you, they might be onto some sleazy shit. And the way Akademiks is moving right now, it's like, you know when you're in a bad relationship? You know when, like, your relationship is really bad and your friends know about it, and they try to sit you down and have an intervention to tell you how bad your relationship is, but because you so blinded by the lust, not the love, the lust that comes with the relationship, you want to make sure that you maintain the relationship that's exactly what Akademiks is going through right now. There's some different levels of shit. But hey, let's go ahead and keep going with this.
As he's the one that gave them the heads up, I guess they feel like him or Roc Nation are responsible for this situation, which is completely ridiculous considering that they have a lot of enemies and they don't know where it's coming from. They have no idea who is investigating them, but still chose to talk to these investigators and still decided to open their mouth. Now, Charlamagne explains also, we're going to go ahead and check it out.
Asked me who was behind it, and I said I couldn't tell him. That's not true. I said I don't know, but I would find out. But what I did tell him was that these three individuals, Carson McCoy, another guy named Alex Ocha, and George Nwin. How you pronounce it, Chris? It's Vietnamese name. Nguyen.
Win is the closest, yeah.
George Nwin. He's that's Grandwizard chat nigga, and he is from Australia. What we were told was the Carson kid and George were getting investigated, got pressed by investigators.
Now, Charlamagne apparently is finding this information out by an individual named Carson. Carson is somebody who also dealt with the account Akademiks TV before passing it to George Nwin and allegedly Drake as well.
He cooperated.
No, not Grandy.
And told
no,
and
said
said that they get their marching orders from Akademiks and Drake. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if it's not true. I'm just
Grandy's Vietnamese.
What? Is he? He lives in Australia. Yo, I sent Act the pictures they sent us of him, and Act goes, "Who is this?" And I go, "They say this is the George Grandwizard chat nigga dude." And then he was like, "What? I thought he was skinny." And so I guess when he sent Grand the pictures, Grant confirmed, like, yeah, man, I got these pictures sent to me, a few months ago.
Now, what's crazy is the fact that people finally know how George looks like. It's an Asian man, a Vietnamese man from Australia who is handling this account. And this should already...
Yo, do you have the picture, though? Because that man, he hell of a racist, bruh. The way this man be dropping N-bombs on Twitter, on Instagram, is diabolical work now. Yo, show his picture. Show his face.
Tell you that this is bad. If you are in Australia and you have investigators looking into you and you have no idea where they're coming from, I don't know why you decided to speak to them in the first place. But I think he was so shook that they had pictures of him and his family that he ended up trying to talk to them to see what's going on, and ended up spilling the truth that he does take orders from Akademiks and Drake.
I don't know. But sometimes you be in business with people and aren't fully aware of all the things that they may be doing. There's this guy in Australia, he wrote an article called, what was his name? His name is Kishore. Damn, what's his name? Because you know his name? He wrote this article.
Is this alleged, by the way? Like, are we...
Well, this is an article from Australia. It says the rapper, the crypto billionaire, and the Instagram mystery man.
And we're going to dig deeper into this article because apparently this is where the private investigator was first mentioned. This is where the photos...
What's good, Ron? That's a fact, though.
...of George Nwin were first revealed, and a lot more information as well. It says, who is George Nwin? Unlike Drake, who has 5 Grammy Awards, Nwin is relatively a known quantity, with the Virginia lawsuit being one of the few public documents about his life online. According to sources familiar with the litigation, he is a man in his 30s who lives with his parents and spends most of his time posting memes on the internet. In 2021, he registered the business name Grandwizard Chat with the corporate regulator. Documents filed with the Australian Securities and Investment Commission, the ASIC, indicate the name is linked to 2-bedroom fibro shack in Cabramatta, owned by 2 people with the same last name as him. So apparently those are his parents. When contacted by the masthead, Nwin hung up. He did not return subsequent calls and messages. On Instagram and X, he is a lot less shy. Under his handle, Grandwizard was the title used by leaders of the clan. He unleashes thousands of memes, hip-hop gossip items, tabloid news clippings, and videos to over 500,000 followers while never revealing his face or any details of his identity. Widespread chatter on social media suggests that Nwin also administers the Instagram page of a close associate called Livingston George Allen, also known as DJ Akademiks, a hip-hop podcaster and influencer with millions of followers across various platforms who streams lengthy, rambling videos while swigging Hennessy from the bottle. Allen describes Nwin as my boy and Big Act's top lieutenant, Grandy. Nwin's Instagram profile picture features an image of Allen. Both men's accounts were amongst those heavily promoting Drake during a messy, widely publicized beef with Lamar, flooding the zone with memes, backing the Canadian and attacking his Californian rival. While the two rappers have been rivals for over a decade now, their feud escalated in 2024. As the beef grew, both rappers and their backers would accuse the other party of illegally inflating streaming numbers, which remain a key source of bragging rights and the focus of the Virginia lawsuit. Nwin, operating under his Instagram alias, was squarely in Drake's corner online in one of many of his posts. Nwin describes the rapper as the greatest lyricist of our generation, but he...
I mean, you don't have to lie through your teeth like that, but sure, go ahead.
...is more than just a distant admirer. When Nwin's Instagram account was compromised last year, hackers revealed screenshots of him exchanging messages with Drake, which were subsequently posted on Reddit. The two discussed had to deal with the pro-Lamar social media accounts and make crude jokes about the NFL quarterback Patrick Mahomes' brother Jackson. And this is the exact video that they're talking about. This is Grandwizard's account that Drake had gotten back for him. And these are the DMs that they had leaked. This is him.
The DM with Snow is crazy. Oh my God. But I do remember the Ville was going over this moment. So I'm familiar. This is why I'm interested in this topic, because I'm familiar with details that are a little bit outside of the topic. So looking at all this, we've already, me personally and anybody that was a part of that live, we've already been through this. We've already seen this before. But we need this information to get to the bottom of what's going on right now.
Messaging Drake. This is him saying the stuff about Snow. We talked about Snow on this channel, where Drake had a live stream with her, talking to random people. A very strange, very weird, creepy live stream. We talked about it later. And then that's not the only thing they talked about. They also talked about Not Like Us. There was several things that Grandwizard would send him, and Drake would respond to it, So a lot of people are thinking that Drake doesn't have time to engage with a fan account or someone that works for Akademiks. No, you're wrong. He does. He has a lot of time. You can see him responding to the messages. You see where he sends him the information. Drake is quick to respond to it, and then he gets back to him. He gets back to him if he has any other relying information that he wants to send to Drake. So I don't get why people think that they're not in cahoots with each other. If he was able to pay a large lump sum of money just so that way the account could get back in his hands, then I don't see why people can't believe that he could be in cahoots with him or send messages in his favor or post stuff in his favor. Even the stuff from the Meet the Grams, even the stuff from Ebony Prince, all of this stuff was from Ebony Prince. And we've talked about him a lot on this channel. He was sending them information about that where Drake was still responding. Still no idea what that shit is. I thought he planted the information, right? I guess not, because he didn't even know where it was from. There's a lot of things that he sends them. It makes no sense why people think that they're not in contact with each other, that Drake doesn't have time to respond to him, when you could clearly see their DMs right here in front of us. It says, yet despite court documents placing Nwin just 1 degree of separation from celebrity, his offline identity remains mysterious. Even Allen says he does not know who Nwin actually is. I don't know who Grandwizard is. It's my boy, but he might be AI. I think Grandwizard is AI. He never
AI?
sent me a selfie. He said during the stream last year. The close.
Are you serious? AI? That's your excuse? Some weak punk ass excuse. That's weak. That's weak right there.
Documents placing Nwin just 1 degree of separation from celebrity. His offline identity remains mysterious. Even Allen says he does not know who Nwin actually is. I don't know who Grandwizard is. It's my boy, but he might be AI. I think Grandwizard is AI. He never sent me a selfie. He said during a stream last year. The closest anyone's came to hearing Nwin's actual voice was on one of Allen's YouTube live streams last October. In it, Allen played a recording he claims is a phone call with a private investigator flown in from the United States and camped outside Nwin's front door, who proceeds to ask him a series of questions about his role in funding bot campaigns for Drake. So the private investigator is from the United States, referring to himself as the Wizard and speaking with an American accent that occasionally slips. Nwin makes claims about being friends with Ross and Drake and owning a mansion in Melbourne, Texas, and California. Me and my guys are running the media, Nwin, a Vietnamese Australian, says. The woman asks Nwin about steak. Ma'am, I'm just a gambler on steak. I love the product. He says, you ever heard of Eddie Craven? Nwin asked the investigator. But Craven has not heard of Nwin. There is no affiliation between Nwin and Steak or Ed, regardless of what's claimed in the court document, a spokesman for Steak said. Now, this right here is a lie, because clipping is also ran by Eddie Craven. And this is the problem here. If Eddie Craven owns Steak and he owns Kick and he owns clipping and Akademiks TV or George Nwin uses clipping, then that means that Eddie Craven must know who he is. And if Nwin is asking the investigator if she knows Eddie Craven, then obviously they have some type of rapport with each other. They have some type of relationship with each other. You're one of the biggest clippers that uses his platform. How would you not know who he is? Right here, I think the spokesperson for Steak is lying. I think Eddie Craven does know Akademiks just as much as he knows George Nwin. And this is information that I found about the investigator. Apparently, it is an American woman who decided to sleep outside George's house to ask him these questions. But as far as where they come from, it's still not confirmed. And I think that's the part that is driving them insane. I mean, it would drive anybody crazy if you found an investigator sleeping outside your house waiting to ask you questions. But let's continue with the audio.
Newspaper out there in Australia. So apparently this was a big deal. Like they came to Grandwizard's house, aka George Nwin, and was talking to his parents and was talking to him. And this is all allegedly. Him and the dude Carson were cooperating and just told them, hey, we do these things because of these two individuals, you know, Akademiks and Drake. Once again, I don't know if this is true or not. I just decided to tell Ak what the hell was going on.
Personally, I think that the investigator is somebody who's involved in this lawsuit.
Also, Ak told me that Carson...
So they're rolling on, according to this, they're rolling on Ak.
Who's rolling on that?
The Grandy and then the other person.
They just said that they're cooperating, and they said that the two people they get their marching orders from was Akademiks and Drake.
But are they so they're cooperating against?
That's what it sounded like to me.
And we know this is true, or this is all alleged.
See, the thing is, though, because, like, they've been gliding over it the whole time, right? This is what they've been gliding over this whole time. There are 2 people or 3 people, at least, that have access to Akademiks TV. It's Grandwizard, the George Nwin dude from Australia, is Akademiks, and it's Aubrey. 3 people have access to that page on Instagram or wherever it is, on Twitter, wherever. Are we not piecing together that Drake could be also putting out news that makes him look better and then make Kendrick look crazy? Of course, this is all alleged. I'm basing it off of the video that I'm listening to. But at the same time, the detail is there. 3 people at least have access to this page. Are we not taking that in? Just think about all the memes, all the pictures, all the posts that's come from Akademiks TV. We don't know who exactly is posting them, but the fact that there are 3 people that have access at minimum to that page, including Aubrey himself. Hey, that's a power play. That's a power play. It's clever. I'm not saying it's smart. It's clever. Okay? But at the same time, that's nasty. That's nasty. The manipulation is... you a master manipulator. Like, look at the level that you at of master manipulation. That's crazy to me. That is crazy. Yo, this is different. This is absolutely different.
Right now,
I'm just showing you what they said. They said it's been an investigation.
I just don't want to throw things on people that I find hilarious.
He's not hilarious. He is not funny. Akademiks TV, George Nwin, is posting the most horrific shit, the most foul shit. Not only are they talking shit about people they don't like, but they say the most craziest shit that you can imagine.
But Ak told me that Carson used to work for him, but Carson don't work for him no more. And we were told that Carson used to run Akademiks TV, but now allegedly George and Drake run Akademiks TV. Now I told Ak all of this.
Akademiks TV is
a Twitter page that is crazy. Like they go crazy on people. Like they just say the wildest shit. Like they say the wildest shit about people. This is apparently this is allegedly George right here.
Shut the this nigga. Shut up! What is that? What is that? This nigga bigger than the Ville. What the fuck? No way. No way. Oh my God. Oh no, he is Samoan. He is Samoan. He one of them big scary Samoans, bro. I don't want to mess with him. You know what? Never mind. Let me stop. Let's keep going.
The grant right there.
I guarantee you, the fact that he's being spotted outside of his home, people are taking pictures of him outside of his home, is something that startled him for sure. The man is out there in Australia, but they got pictures of him somehow. This is some next level shit. And even though we can't confirm, I feel like it's law enforcement. If it's not law enforcement, it's somebody that has a lot of money.
That's apparently him. Now, but by the way, it gets crazier, right? So,
yo, George, stay true, George. Don't roll, George.
He might have already did, but anyway,
don't do it.
Here's my thing. I don't know what Ak went back and told the team.
Okay.
But then it's funny if I go to you and I say, yo, this dude, George, Grandwizard chat nigga, runs Akademiks TV, allegedly. And I'm telling you that this dude and this guy Carson might be cooperating and telling things about y'all that may or may not be true. But then you spend the whole week slandering me.
Oh, Ak was slandering you?
No, Akademiks TV, who's ran by George, a.k.a. Grandwizard chat nigga.
Now, Charlemagne is giving a lot of grace to Akademiks, if you ask me. I find it hard to believe that Akademiks isn't aware of what Grand is posting. If he's mad at Charlemagne and talking shit about Charlemagne on the account, Akademiks is co-signing that. Regardless, it's his name on it. But Charlemagne is saying that it's only Grand that's doing it. It's only George that's doing it. It's not Akademiks who's in control. But I find that hard to believe. Akademiks definitely is in control. I think Charlemagne is doing a play here where Charlemagne is trying to help Akademiks. He's trying to say that we're in good graces with each other. I'm not against you. If anything, I'm only warning you. So I don't know why your homie has to get at me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you spend the whole week slandering me because of what I told Akademiks. It's like you're kind of proving these people right. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, this guy right here, works for these two individuals, gets paid to spread these narratives, and then when I go to your man and tell your man something about you, you spend the whole week slandering me.
But why would they slander you? Why, isn't that so obvious?
Oh, that's a good point. That's a great question. When I saw one of the posts, I sent it to Ak. And I'll tell you what Ak said. I sent it to Ak. I said, yo, aiming at me won't do nothing for him. I just put you on to what came across our desk because you always do it for me. And then he said, yeah, I think he thinks you and Roc Nation are exposing him. LOL. He said he got those pics 3 months ago. LOL. This is next level. LOL. Dude is in another country.
Now that is pretty comedy, bro. You get private investigators in front of your house. Charlemagne warns you about it. And the first thing that George wants to do, Grandwizard wants to do, is blame Charlemagne and Roc Nation. God damn.
We're Roc Nation.
Like,
Hold on. See,
you can't make.
That's how you know dude has no idea what he's talking about. Because where Roc Nation come from? Where Roc Nation come from? Who are you getting investigated by? That's a real question. Yo, okay. At first, when it comes to Roc Nation, initially, when people were throwing the Roc Nation name out, it had a little bit of validity. The issue is, y'all just throwing Roc Nation anywhere and everywhere. Now y'all sound crazy. All that validity that you built up is gone. Now you're just talking crazy, sound like Nickiminaj. Just high off that booger sugar, just talking mad. Like, nah, bro. now Grandwizard sound crazy. Where Roc Nation come from, bro? Are you okay? I know you scared, but the way that you're trying to run defense, it sounds like desperation, and it's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help you. The charade that y'all been having this whole time, it might be up. Now, we don't know exactly who posted what, but between the 3 or 4 of y'all, hey, bro, y'all might have to get, I don't know what's going to happen, but something going to have to happen, bro. I ain't going to lie to you.
Make this shit up, bro. How is he the one that is setting this up when he's the one that's warning you? It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't think that Charlemagne is responsible.
Makes 0 sense, bro. No cap. Tiptoe Joey for this, just subscribe? Really? It's good. How you feeling?
For these investigators, I really don't. I think he wants to be fair. I think he wants.
Oh, on Twitch. Oh, shout out to Tiptoe. I just took it in. Shout out to Tiptoe for the subscription. I just took it in. I'm like, subscribe.
Wants Akademiks to know I don't have anything against you. This is what I've been hearing. But since he's the only one to tell them about it, now they think that he's the one responsible, which is completely ridiculous because why am I going to tell you about something that I'm responsible for? If that's the case, I wouldn't want you to know that it's coming from me at all. So why would I tell you about it? I guess that's when the paranoia starts creeping in, and that's when people start blaming Roc Nation. That shit crazy. No wonder Jay-Z said public enemy number 1. All of a sudden, he's the one that gets the blame. It's a murder mystery game.
So what the fuck Roc Nation got to do with this?
They think you're tied to this expose on
how? When I called your man
to notify him,
to tell him what the fuck was going on, Ak didn't have to say nothing to nobody. Ak could have took that information.
This is fascinating.
Ak could have took that information and did whatever with it. He could have just went and notified his team. Yeah. I don't know. So if Ak notified his team and his team reaction is, all right, well, let's go slander Charlemagne for the week. That you're kind of
proving the point.
You're proving the point and making me look like, oh, so maybe it is something to what the fuck may be going on. But I don't know. I don't think Akademiks has anything to do with it. I really don't. I think he's affiliated with some people that he may not know everything that
they're up to.
Because there's lawsuits like that. There's lawsuits that Ak just got added to, right? Like involving Drake and Steak and all types of other shit. And, the dude George is also in those lawsuits as well.
Okay.
And I just think that guy might be involved in some things that Ak may not know about it. Ak put me onto the whole Clipper game, even though I knew what the Clippers were, but they really roll like a mob in a mafia. And that's another thing I was telling Ak. I was like, yo, There's people in these discords that they're.
And to add to the clipping thing is exactly what we were saying previously. George Nwin, when he was talking to the investigator, he said, do you know Eddie Craven? He owns Stake and Kick, but he also owns Clipping. Clipping is something that Akademiks TV Grandwizard uses. So how the hell is he not going to know who he is? I think this investigator is part of this whole entire lawsuit situation going on with Stake. Again, Stake is an Australian company also. So I don't find it hard to believe that they would send someone to Australia to find out about this unknown man who's also in a lawsuit with an Australian company that is tied to U.S. soil. I'm going to be completely honest here. I think that it has to do something with the Stake lawsuit. I think it has something to do with some illegal activity. If Charlemagne was responsible, I don't think he'll be the one warning you. I don't think Roc Nation is responsible either. But that's the paranoia that they're dealing with. They have so many enemies, they don't know where it's coming from. They have so many personal problems, they have no idea where it's coming from. I think Akademiks doesn't want to believe that the people he associated with are willing to flip on him once things get too hot. Once things get too dangerous and start getting close to home, I think that they're going to be quick to snitch on Drake and Akademiks. And I think that Drake is responsible for some of the things that are posted to that account. I don't think that Drake is signing in and posting it himself, but I do think that he does have a say-so of what he wants on there or what he wants to be shared and the way he wants it to be shared. I think Drake does have control. I think Akademiks has control. And Akademiks himself is acting clueless. He's acting like he has no idea what's going on, but I think he does. But if he doesn't, then I think he's in for...
That's the only way Akademiks can act right now, because if Akademiks was to speak his mind, he's cooked. Akademiks is backed in a corner. He has no choice but to act stupid. And history shows, anytime Akademiks is backed in a corner, what's the first thing he do? He acts dumb. Another thing that he does is that he start asking questions, even though we already have the answers to the questions. Like, literally, every time someone be talking to him, he be answering in questions. Like, wait, what do you mean by that? Nick, you know what? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a tactic used by Akademiks, but if you pay attention to him long enough, you're going to see it. And when you see it, oh boy, you'll understand.
For a rude awakening, because I think these guys, once they crack under pressure, they're going to tell on the whole entire operation. They're going to tell on Akademiks. They're going to tell on Drake. And as far as what Charlemagne has said, they already snitched on them once. I think they're going to tell all once they get a chance again to speak to somebody, whether it's an investigator, a government official. At this point, we don't know. I guess we'll find out where the investigator comes from later on. But y'all can tell me how you feel about this. Make sure you like the video, hype the video, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you on the next one, man. Peace. Keep it alleged.
Just like that. Okay. Akademiks TV. We've seen some of the things they've been posting, especially on Twitter. It's one thing to see it on Instagram. It's a little tamed on Instagram, but on Twitter, there's no holding back on Twitter. You've seen some of the wildest shit, regardless if it's a post or a comment. There was potentially 4 people using that platform. That Carson dude that they fired, Grandwizard chat nigga, Akademiks himself, and Drake. Drake alone. That's, of course, it's alleged, but that right there is mad concerning. Because it's gotten to a point where you're manipulating the news that people get. Because everybody knows, regardless if we like it or not, everybody runs to Akademiks for music news, especially first week sales. That's what Akademiks has built his page up to be. The fact that you have Aubrey potentially using that platform to manipulate the news? Oh my God. You see what I be talking about? And yes, I'm gonna plaster alleged all over this shit because I don't know. Right? But just going with that information, you see what I'm talking about? When it comes to people playing in your face, I don't like people playing in my face. I don't like that ish. And they do it on a daily basis off of that platform. Fortunately, I don't pay attention to that platform. But anytime I see something from that page, it's always some crazy ish. And I try to distance myself from that because I don't need to be reading some of the things that they be talking about. I don't need to read that ish. You crazy? This is what I'm talking about. I don't like people playing in my face. And I know there's other people around here that don't like it either. It's just getting to a point where it's like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous on levels it should never have been on in the first place. So continue your investigation. All right? Now we know who Grandwizard looked like. Big, strong, Samoan-looking mother... we gonna see what's going on. Like, let the story develop, you know? But for what we've been given right now, wow is all I gotta say. And Akademiks honestly should know better. Because Akademiks, who are you to get in between that page, which is technically yours, and your best friend? Because that's your best friend, right? Your best friend has power, whether we like it or not. If your best friend go and talk to Grandwizard to get the login code, you think Grandwizard's going to say no? Hell yeah, Grandwizard going to say yes. And you going to sit there and act stupid. Man, you should know better. But like I said, you're probably playing dumb, so it's not a surprise. Let the story develop at this point. That's all I got to say.